Welcome to another episode of Andy's Chomping at the Bit, brought to you by Big Andy Media, the official sponsor of every Friday segment of Andy's Chomping at the Bit. So, this is the last Chomping at the Bit episode before Christmas. So I figured, what better topic than Christmas? Now, Christmas has a lot of value to me, and it also has a lot of value to other Christians around the world, not just this country, but around the world. But there's something in my eyes about Christmas that I feel that the values, the meanings beyond just the religious side, I feel that those are some things that even if you're of a different belief, even if you don't believe anything, I feel that there's still reason to celebrate Christmas, even if you're not celebrating it for the religious purpose. So let me explain that. And I know there's going to be people that disagree with me on both sides. There's going to be Christians that disagree with me, saying that that the celebration of Jesus Christ is the only reason to celebrate Christmas. And for me, it is one of the main reasons I celebrate Christmas. But it's not the only reason. So many people know of, Santa Claus, and some people know the origins better than others. Saint Nicholas, literally a saint. But the fantasy, the version we grow up to, as so many of us grew up to as kids, of Santa Claus, and the holiday around that side of things, the presents, giving the gift to someone else, helping someone else. I mean, depending on your age, Christmas is either about giving or receiving. When you get older, it becomes more and more about the opportunity to give, seeing someone else's expression when they get to open a gift that you got for them, being able to give back to others. That's what I love about Christmas. Being able to volunteer and serve meals for people around that time. That doesn't just have to be a Christian thing. That doesn't have to be just a religious-based thing. Those kind of things, in my eyes, like I said, this is my viewpoint to this. Whether you agree with it or not is completely up to you. And I respect your differences if you choose to have differences on this. That they're Christian established values, however you want to put it. I feel that celebrating Christmas, even if you're Jewish or you're atheist or agnostic, spiritual, it's something that can be celebrated by, in my mind, everyone. It's inclusive enough that it can be celebrated by everyone. Just not everyone will be celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ. My point is that you can still celebrate it for other purposes, other values that don't cross into the religious spectrum. It's kind of like Thanksgiving in the sense, not the actual origins of Thanksgiving, but why a lot of people celebrate Thanksgiving, come together with family, having a good meal. Try taking, just my suggestion, try taking that, if you're not Christian, and applying it to Christmas Day. You don't have to believe. You really don't. In my mind, I can't make anyone think or do anything other than myself. I can only control me. So if you don't want to believe in something, I can't force it. But I think it would be I welcome anybody who might have a different religious belief. even whether it be Islam or Hindu or Buddhism. It doesn't matter in my mind on this particular part of it, as far as giving a gift to someone, helping someone out a little bit more on that day. Um, wishing someone, even if it's just a happy holidays or Merry Christmas, I don't care which one you say, as long as you say it with the intent of being inclusive to everyone. I feel that's important in my mind. I mean, I can't control how you say it. But I don't think it needs to be strictly a religious based thing as far as celebrating beyond that. Because you can celebrate the values regardless of your religious beliefs. And that's a pretty powerful thing for a religious holiday, to have that power to be able to influence people beyond just that religion. Be able to influence everyone, whether they agree with the origins or not. I think that would be a powerful direction for if things would go that way. I don't know if they ever will. But I'll say this, that, like I said, as a Christian myself, I at least welcome anyone, even outside of my religion and outside of the Christian religion. I invite you to celebrate for the things that we can have in common, regardless of religion. Celebrating for helping one another, giving back to one another, spending time with family and friends, the ones we care about the most. That's the hidden, I guess you'd say, the hidden meaning of Christmas to me. And I know what it's like to miss Christmas too. 2 years ago, I did not get to spend Christmas with my family. 2 years ago, I was spending Christmas in Ottawa County Jail. I can say that I was clean and sober at that point. I can say that that I'd already made the decision that I didn't want to go back to using. So my life was already much better than it had been at other points in my life as far as getting my act together. But the reality was I made some poor choices, and that's where I ended up. But there were things that hurt more than just the time. It was missing out with family. Fortunately, I am very fortunate. I was able to call my family and speak with them on the phone, because there was a lot of people that didn't have that luxury, or they didn't have anyone to call to, even if they had the money. But I wasn't able to spend the time with them. But I could still celebrate. I wasn't able to celebrate in that manner, but I was still able to celebrate in my own personal, peaceful way. And I've had bad moments on Christmas. Really, that wasn't even the worst moment. In 2020, Christmas of 2020, about exactly a week before Christmas, that Sunday before, or maybe it wasn't exactly, but the Sunday before Christmas in 2020, I was driving home from work in the evening, and I remember thinking, man, I can't wait to get home so I can go to bed. And the next thing I remember is I was standing, and it was now daytime. I was standing in the middle of the street looking at a church. And I looked down at my phone, which was amazing that I even had. Was I looked down at my phone? No, I did not look down at my phone. I looked down. And I remember being confused, and I remember it was 11 o'clock. I don't remember if I asked someone if it was 11 or if I saw it somewhere, but I remember it was 11 o'clock. I didn't know who I was. I didn't know what day it was. I just the time. And I wandered into a 7-Eleven store, and I asked the person at the counter, what Where am I? What day is it? Uh, who am I? And they said, well, you're in Denver. It's Christmas. Um, and we don't know who you are. Check your wallet. All right. Coincidentally, I did have my wallet, so that was good. So that's how I found out who I was at that point, which was a refresher. But I I didn't have any recollection of the week leading up to that. um, all I know is that on Christmas Day at around 11 o'clock, I came to and I was standing in front of a church on Pearl Street near Pearl and Colfax in Denver. And I did not live in Denver. I lived in Colorado, but I lived in Avon, which is roughly a 2.5 hour drive away. And that was the last place I remember being. So a lot happened in between. I don't know any of the details, unfortunately. But that was I'd say that was probably the scariest Christmas I ever had. Because I didn't know if something traumatic happened and my brain just didn't want me to see it or remember it. If it was something more significant like a tumor or another medical condition that I'm not aware of. And so the doctors, they did multiple tests on me, blood work, scans, the whole CAT scan, MRI. They did everything, and they couldn't find anything. No, I don't think they did an EEG at that point, and I do have to eventually go to University of Michigan Ann Arbor because I have to do I believe 3-day EEG study for them. Maybe I'll find some stuff out, but anyway, there was a whole week that I don't remember around Christmas, but I do remember that I came to on Christmas, which is somewhat, in my eyes, somewhat of a miracle in itself because I was in a very, very, very low place at that point of my life. I had really started going deep in the drugs there. I was about 2 months past my moment when I was sexually assaulted out there, and so I was having a rough time at that point in my life. I had tried. I was struggling with depression because of the sexual assault, because of the drugs, and a lot of other things, and so I tried killing myself unsuccessfully multiple times before that point. Fortunately, I was unsuccessful. But somehow I came to at that point. I was there. I went to the hospital. It was a scary Christmas. And then my mom flew out. And that was unexpected. And it was a very good unexpected because I was at a very low point in my life. I don't know if I would be here today if she hadn't done that. I really don't. I know I almost wouldn't have been here anyway, but she gave me the opportunity. I needed someone at that time, and my mom was that person. She helped me get through that Christmas and the days following. So, but that's part of what Christmas is. She bought a last-second ticket to Denver and took a shuttle bus where she got a ride with one of the Jonas Brothers to Vail and then to Avon. That's a whole other story in itself. But she came all that way to help me when I was at a very low point and to spend time with me on the holiday season. And I'm grateful for that. I mean, I'm thankful for that moment. Grateful that I have people in my life that care that much. even when those at that time I didn't care that much for myself. So it got me through the holidays that year. But I've had so many wonderful Christmases, certain traditions around Christmas I'll always cherish. For the longest time, when my family lived in Muskegon, before, and I think even when I was living in Lansing. This was part of the tradition. On Christmas Eve, every year, my parents, my brother, and I, we'd go to my Uncle Myron and Aunt Dee's place in Hudsonville, and with my cousins, my aunt, my uncle, we'd always have a wonderful dinner, which, as far as I can remember, always was involving lasagna, both the vegetable and meat option. um, and I believe there were some cookies involved and some amazing fudge. My Uncle Myron can make amazing fudge, best ever. Yeah, he puts Mackinac Island to shame. No offense, Mackinac Island, but he has you beat. I think it was my grandma's recipe. But anyway, we'd have a wonderful dinner, and then in the evening we would go to the United Methodist Church downtown in Grand Rapids, and we'd always sit in the balcony. But it was just tradition that we'd do there and go there for that evening Christmas Eve service, and we get to sing carols, Christmas carols, and other wonderful songs, and we get to do the candlelight thing, and I'd always, when I was younger, I'd always take off the safety paper for the hand, and I'd for some stupid thing for strength, and I'd hold it to see how much wax I could get on my hand before we had to blow out the candles. And yeah, I don't know why I did that too much. Just stupid young stuff. Lacked maturity at the time. But anyway, doing communion, and that whole experience was amazing. And then after we'd go back to my uncle and aunt's place, and we'd watch. If I remember correctly, we always watched either A Christmas Story or Christmas Vacation. It's tradition. You got to watch. Sometimes I think we might have watched both. We might have watched one before the church and one after. But those memories you make, they last, and I don't need a video to remember. I don't need a picture. Those pictures are nice. I don't need pictures to remember it. I don't need anything as far as material goes to recall and remember those amazing moments. I'll always remember those. I'll cherish those memories forever. Those were special moments. Simple but special moments. That's what Christmas gave me. That's what I was fortunate enough to enjoy. And I personally don't feel that should be limited to just people in my situation. I don't think it should be limited even to just people of my belief. Certain aspects of that you can enjoy with everyone. We don't have to divide over differences. We can unite over the idea of giving back to help one another. So when people say celebrating Christmas is to celebrate the birth of Christ, I agree on that, even though they've shown he wasn't actually born this time of year. Is more like March. But anyway, springtime. Regardless, I still, celebrate Christmas for that reason, but it's it has so much. It's more of a celebration of life in general, a celebration of love and life, a celebration of the good that's still in this world. That's how I like to celebrate Christmas, how I like to approach it. Um, approach it as how it relates to the present. And that's how I see it. It's the good that we have in this world, the love we have, the caring, compassion for one another. That's Christmas. That's what I celebrate as Christmas. And that's something that regardless of your faith, your beliefs, we can all celebrate that. So, and you don't necessarily have to put up the tree. You don't have to do anything of the traditional things, but know that you're welcome to celebrate as far as I'm concerned. And if you want to put up a tree and you're not religious, that's fine with me. You want to deck out your yard with ornaments, more power to you. Want to get people presents, that's a good, caring thing to do. If you want presents, you're okay with that too. Just remember the priorities to give, to help someone. And if you can't afford to help someone, I've been in this situation many, many times. I'm still slightly into where I want compared to where I want to be, but taking it as best I can. Sometimes giving for Christmas, this is what I want to hit on also. Sometimes giving for Christmas isn't necessarily material. And this one's hard for me because there's been times where I've given something, given material wise, but I wasn't there. I mean, I was physically there, but I wasn't there. Last Christmas, I didn't have any money as far as for gifts. But I gave the fact that I was there because I missed 3 Christmases with my family. And I'd never missed a single Christmas before that. So my present to my family was I was going to be there. I was going to be clean and sober. I was going to cook. That's something I can always do. I was going to bake. And I was going to enjoy being with them and bring a positive attitude. It doesn't sound like a lot to people. But it was the best I could do at that point. And I'm grateful that I was able to do that last Christmas. This Christmas, I got a little bit of money to work with to help them out for presents. It's not a competition. I am confident that I am on the low side of the spending. And I don't care if I don't get a present, honestly. Being able to sit down with my family actually is meaningful to me. And I told them already, I don't want a gift for Christmas. Instead, I'd like us to save our money, set it aside, and come April, we can get tickets to the Frozen Four in St. Louis, Missouri, and watch the Spartans win a national championship. It's a bit optimistic, but, 'tis the season. And if they don't make it, if they don't, go that far, well, then we got money saved for next year. Or for another family vacation. There's always something, but that's more valuable to me, spending time with family. So, well, I'm going to wrap it up here. That's this week's episode of Andy's Chomping at the Bit. I am extremely grateful for being able to do this. I look forward to seeing you guys again during this coming week for the Daily Biscuits, and one will be on Christmas Day, so I got a special one for that. But I also want to remind you guys we have the Singing for a Cause event that will be coming up again as far as the requested side in January. So January, I'm going to have another Spotlight Charity, and the first Sunday of the month, along with the third Sunday of the month, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m., we will have a live Request a live performance where you get to tip if you want to choose a song, or you can simply tune in for free to listen and learn about the Spotlight charity and other things happening with Big Andy Media. So, that, like I said, that'll be the first and third Sunday of every month. So, I hope you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you guys again next week. Take care.